Hi everyone, Jenna here. I'm the founder of Star Family Wisdom, and I want to offer a short message for anyone who's just finding this channel or who might be new here, and to explain a little bit about what you're going to find here going forward. This channel is not for spiritual beginners. This channel holds a lot of information that allows us to access our higher levels of multidimensional awareness and galactic level awareness. So, this channel is a place for people who are already on the path of initiation, who are already well into their spiritual seeking journey or their integration journey of learning about their soul and integrating all of the parts of their soul and self that can be integrated. The journey of spiritual evolution and transformation can be quite profound. And on Earth, we're living in a school where we have souls operating at all different levels of consciousness. We have souls having a wild, wild range of consciousness experiences. And that's not a judgment, this is just a fact. And the fact is that this living multidimensional school of Earth has also put a lot of humans in a place where we're operating in a pretty contracted state, or we are under a lot of illusions of reality that are not actually true. And that's a big journey to undertake, to go from the state of contracted consciousness we have found ourselves in as humans to a more expanded and unified state with source intelligence and source light and energy. I also want to address the fact that when we start to have conversations that are of a higher order, higher octave, are multidimensional in nature, start to bring in the star races and that sort of thing, to the uninitiated, that can seem unbelievable. To the uninitiated, that can seem really out there. To the uninitiated, that can seem almost scary, or it can seem like someone's delivering misinformation. And it's been really important to me on my journey and as a leader in this life that I am arriving at a place of truth and clarity, and that I am leading in the most integrous way possible. And for many years, I was a leader at Whole Foods Market. I became a global vice president of merchandising operations at the age of 30. And that was a big journey to undertake. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about where to support harmony and where to support people in reaching their goals, and how to diffuse conflict, and how to bring order out of chaos, and how to also always be as transparent as possible, but also lead from the highest level of integrity. So I want you to know that as I share on this channel, as I share from my journey, it is simply from my journey, and it is my experience of reality. My experience of reality is really different than a lot of humans now. And that's just a truth. My experience is really, really different. And it has been different for a long time. And when those differences started to really become apparent to me, when my experience of consciousness started to shift, when I went from being asleep in this lifetime and not accessing all of my higher consciousness, when I went from that state to accessing more of my consciousness and moving through the journey of integrating that awareness and the levels of consciousness that are possible to access, that was really challenging. There was fear for me at first, and there have been a lot of moments of fear and challenges along the way to navigate that spiral of evolution that is possible to meet all sorts of negative illusions, and to be able to feel in my human system truth versus distortion. And I can't explain that whole journey in one video, and I can't explain it in a few videos, but over time, more of that journey may become even more apparent through this channel. But I want to state that my intention is to always deliver information that, from my experience, is the most aligned, clarified, truthful information, that I am representing information that I have the lived experience of, that I am representing a type of consciousness and lived experience as a divine human, an awakened human, a new human, a higher consciousness human that is able to demonstrate what that looks like now without explaining how reality works, without explaining spiritual concepts, without explaining the nuts and bolts of how consciousness operates in this universe and in this earth matrix. It's highly complex. The mechanics of existence are complex, and our experience of consciousness can also become quite complex. We can also make it simple. And a lot of my journey has been exploring highly complex consciousness patterns, highly complex concepts, and working to simplify them so that as I continue to share, as I continue to put myself out there publicly, that I am also able to offer both a demonstration of what it looks like to just be the new human who has accessed all of their consciousness, but also to offer wisdom, insights, practices that are the distilled version of what I've been walking through, and to provide offerings that are supportive and helpful, but also are not beginner level in nature. And so I want to make that clear that this is a channel that for people who are really just starting out on the spiritual path might not find a lot here that resonates with them, and that's okay. This is a long range journey that we're on when we're on the spiritual path, and we go through a lot of different phases of different information resonating with us for different reasons. And so I invite you to gently explore and go back in the YouTube channel to some of the very early videos that were posted a few years ago. So you can also follow, if you're interested, to follow that arc of evolution and to see that evolution within me as this journey has progressed. So to quickly summarize, I am a soul who has had ET contact. I'm a soul who has remembered themselves as a galactic level soul who has access to that level of consciousness, who has utilized that level of consciousness in this life in various ways, in the various leadership roles that I've held, and have in other lives as well. I'm a soul who has been called to remember the divine feminine mysteries of the universe. I am a soul who has been called to walk through fire and a lot of consciousness challenges and distortion, to remember how to shift and change consciousness patterns, and to remember how to come back to a more aligned, beautiful, harmonious, loving way of living. And that looks different for all of us. And my journey happens to also involve a really multidimensional and star family, galactically connected journey, which I'm really excited about and passionate about, and am excited to continue sharing as well as time goes on. I'm also a soul who has had a lot of experience leading through transformation and change in a lot of my lives. That has been a specialty of mine. And in this life, I found myself as a leader at Whole Foods Market at a young age, finding myself in leadership roles that I wasn't quite sure why I was in them. But I found that I had talent and skill, and I had natural leadership abilities, and I was able to rise through those positions and also help my teams and help individuals reach their goals. And as I said earlier in the video, diffuse chaos and conflict, and to be a deep listener, and to bring empathy to my roles as a leader, and to honor everyone's journey in a team setting, in an organizational setting, to support large-scale transformation and difficult transformation and organizational transformation. So I have long-term experience in navigating large scale transformation. And I'm now doing that on a consciousness level. I'm now doing that in relation to human consciousness. I've been doing that for years now. And a lot of what you will find going forward is now a reflection of the result of that journey. So the result of that journey looks a lot different than the beginning of that journey. And it's not for everyone, and that's okay. And I honor everyone's journey, and I honor everyone's experience of consciousness, and I also honor how it feels when we meet certain people or experiences that don't resonate with us. I know how that feels. And sometimes when there is a very clear experience of something not resonating, that doesn't feel good, and that's okay. It just means there's not a resonance there. And so I also invite everyone finding this channel to tune into your resonance. What is feeling true to you? What's feeling like it's lighting you up? What's feeling like it's moving you forward on your path in a beautiful way? And if it's not supporting you in that, then it's just not for you at this time, or maybe there's something different that would be way more supportive. So it's really important too that we honor the fact that there is a wide range and spectrum of practices, wisdom, information we can connect with on our journeys that always supports us in different ways. And so what you find here is not the way, obviously. There are a lot of different ways to evolve and transform, and I share from my journey, I share from my lived experience, and as time goes on, I'm excited to share more about that, and I'm excited to share more practices that can also support us collectively as we transition into the new earth. So this is a big time of change on the planet. It's a big time of coming into awareness of the fact that we have a wild range of experiences playing out on this planet. We have a wild range of consciousness experiences and experiences of reality, and that can be difficult to sit with sometimes. That can be hard. It can also be hard sometimes to see someone talking about spiritual things from a leadership standpoint and talking about higher level practices and consciousness when we look around and see a lot of things that contradict that, or when we look around the world and we see that not everyone gets that opportunity or that chance in this lifetime. And that can be hard. That can be a hard thing to reconcile. And I understand that. And I too have gone through that sort of reconciliation process myself. And I too feel the depths of humanity and have on this journey many, many, many times and do almost every day. I think it's a misnomer to say that the journey of expanded consciousness, multidimensional awareness, even rising to meet Star Family and have, contact with them in various ways, the journey of embodying source consciousness in ways that are appropriate for us. It's a misnomer to think that journey also is free from human emotion and pain and the lived, felt experience of that we're human. And also, as we evolve and come into higher levels of consciousness, we feel more empathy and we feel more connected to all of life, not disconnected from it, not separate from it. So I also want to state that as I continue to talk about higher consciousness things and source intelligence things and new earth things, that doesn't mean that I don't have human moments of seeing the collective experience and seeing all of these different experiences unfolding and meeting those with empathy and sometimes tears. And it doesn't mean that I'm sitting over here by myself, not engaging with the world and not engaging with the community around me. And it's deeply important to me to integrate spiritual wisdom and higher consciousness with the human experience and with how we live every day, from a more Christ consciousness place, while also being fully human in that journey too. So I wanted to offer this as a transition point from some of the previous content to some of the future content that is coming, and to reinforce the fact that at this point on the journey with Star Family Wisdom, we're now approaching galactic level wisdom transmissions. And that is not beginner level spiritual conversations sometimes. So with that being said, it's also absolutely possible to follow along with this content, even if you're still on that journey of finding your way. And even if you still feel a little bit like a beginner, follow what resonates with you. I'm not telling you you can't be here. I want you here if you want to be here. And at the same time, I also encourage you to source your wisdom from a lot of different places, source your practices from a lot of different places. You're not going to find all of it here. And that's also part of the journey of our spiritual vision quests that we end up on. We're meant to connect with a lot of different people, places, experiences to integrate a holistic experience of life and spirituality and ourselves. And so I encourage that. I never want to encourage siloing. I never want to encourage becoming kind of one track minded in our spirituality, or focusing on like one lineage specifically. It's been really important to me to source my wisdom from far and wide, but to also really tune into my barometer system on what's resonating and what's not, and to allow that to also guide me forward, and to allow then my awakened perceptual abilities to support that guidance system forward as well. So I offer this as a welcome and an invite and a PSA, and I welcome questions and comments. And if there's anything I discuss and share in future videos that doesn't seem totally clear, or feels like it could use some more explanation to help it land, I welcome that information. I welcome that reflection, and I'm grateful for it, because it's important to me that even if I'm offering advanced content, that it is synthesized in a way that it lands easily in our systems. I want that. So that's my intention. And my intention is to support our readiness for the new earth. And for those who are on that journey, for those who are finding themselves aligned with the new earth frequencies, with coming into a more loving, harmonious, clear, open, non-judgmental, non-conflict based experience of reality, and for those who are really excited about exploring their multidimensionality, and excited about exploring all of the possibilities that exist in that exploration of consciousness. So with that being said, I love you, and thank you for being here. And to everyone who's been here the whole time, thanks. Oh my gosh. Thank you for following along this whole time. What a journey we've been on. It's been a little wild at times. The journey of awakening is meant to challenge us and meant to take us through all sorts of experiences. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm excited to share more in the future as it feels appropriate, as I'm excited, as I'm inspired, as it feels divinely aligned. So thank you. I'm grateful for you, and I'll see you again soon.